Welcome to this week's Security Report. I'm Paul McAdam. Thanks for joining us. The mother of businessman Marcus Bisram and a female relative were on Friday, July 17, sentenced to 1 year imprisonment by City Magistrate Laron Daly for offering a $4 million bribe to a police officer to suppress a murder case in 2016. Shamila Indajali, 49, and her co-accused Mariana Lionel, 29, who both live at number 71 Village, Quarantine Berbice, were found guilty of the indictment. The police claimed they corruptly offered the $4 million to the detective on November 19, 2016 at Ivleri to forego charges against Bisram and the men who were eventually committed to stand trial in the High Court for the murder of Berbice carpenter Fayez Narindat. The women were bailed on a total of $3 million during the trial. They were represented by attorney-at-law Sanjeev Datadin. In November 2016, 5 men were held for the murder of the Berbice carpenter, and Bisram was implicated to be the mastermind behind the crime. He's since been freed of those charges. The men, Orlando Dickey, Radish Moti, Deodat Dat, Harry Paul Parzaram, and Niran Yakub, were all on remand awaiting trial at the High Court. Police on the Essequibo coast are on the hunt for a 32-year-old mother of 3 after she stabbed her husband during an argument at the weekend. Dan Paul Ramatar, 42, of Richmond Housing Scheme, Essequibo Coast, was stabbed to the upper left side and the back. He's currently resting in a stable condition at the Soddy Hospital. According to the police headquarters, the incident occurred between 6 and 7 p.m. or 1800 hours and 1900 hours on Saturday at the Richmond Housing Scheme. Dan Paul confronted his wife about how her father treats him, which led to an argument. It was during this argument that she armed herself with the knife and stabbed him. The University of Guyana will be providing forensic artists to the Guyana Police Force. This will aid in their investigations, particularly in cases related to children and adolescents. The initiative, aided by UNICEF, was launched last Friday by Blossom Inc., a non-governmental organization. Forensic art is an artistic technique used by law enforcement for identification, apprehension, or conviction purposes. It is a key component of the responses to violence against children in Guyana, UNICEF said in a statement. Ayodele Dalgety, Dean of Blossom Incorporated, pointed out that many times it is hard to find alleged perpetrators in child sexual abuse cases, particularly in regions 1, 2, 7, and 10, since they would simply disappear into the interior. She explained that support is needed to help jog the memories of persons they may have come into contact with. Police Commissioner Leslie James, in a brief comment, welcomed the initiative, which he said would surely improve the force's work. He said, quote, "Innovation and investment in the use of local talent and expertise will carry our work forward." End of quote. This expertise that can be provided by forensic artists include composite drawing, which will help investigators generate leads based on physical descriptions, for example, to assist in cases of child sexual abuse or missing children, including those referred to by the Child Care and Protection Agency to Blossom Incorporated. Image modification, which can be used to change and enhance a photograph in order to help an investigator and/or trial attorney. Image identification is the recording of a person's distinguishing features for future reference. Investigators can use this tool to identify suspects who attempt to change their appearance to evade capture, as well as help in the study of old cold cases. Crime scene sketching will help to support the information shown in photographs of the scene. Demonstrative evidence, when any visible or physical evidence is recorded in legal proceedings. These can be used to demonstrate aspects of the case, reconstruct an event, or even illustrate what happened. UNICEF said this new initiative complements ongoing investments in specialized courts for sexual offenses and family matters, child advocacy centers, graduate and undergraduate programs in psychology and social work, and the Venezuelan migrants. UNICEF said this new initiative complements ongoing investments in specialized courts for sexual offenses and family matters, child advocacy centers, graduate and undergraduate programs in physiology and psychology work with social work, the Venezuelan migration response, and training in the Guyana Police Force. The force is investigating the murder of Calvin Hamilton, a 29-year-old gold miner of Aranaputa Village, Anai Region 9. Hamilton's partially decomposed body was found floating in a well at Peruni Landing in the Mazaruni River on Sunday, July 19 at about 1700 hours. The body was found with a puncture wound to the leg. According to police headquarters, Hamilton would have died sometime between Friday and Sunday. He was employed with Hard Rock Mining Company as a pitman. The general manager, a Brazilian national, told the police that Hamilton left the mining camp on Friday last at about 1600 hours or 4 p.m. for Peruni Landing. He was then seen drinking at a bar and left that bar at about 1900 hours. His body was discovered after the owner of the bar told his employee to pump water from the well. That well is located about 400 feet from the said bar. The body was transported to the Bartica Regional Hospital and subsequently taken to the Lycan Funeral Home. And police, acting on information on July 21 at about 16:15 hours, intercepted a motor car that was bound for Georgetown in front of the Sparendam police station. A search revealed 300 grams of cannabis in a haversack of one of the 4 occupants. The men were all taken into custody and are assisting with investigations. And a convicted prisoner who on July 21 was found in possession of 1,472 grams of suspected cannabis in the Mazuni prison compound is being processed for court. At about 7:45 hours, a prison officer was patrolling the inner perimeter of the penitentiary when he observed the suspicious behavior of the prisoner, who was in possession of a plastic bucket. The convict, on seeing the officer, made a dash behind the prison chapel, but was immediately pursued, apprehended, and a search of the bucket revealed the prohibited substance. And acting on information received, the police on Wednesday, July 22, at about 1400 hours, intercepted a car at 31 miles Ituni Road. The car was searched and 61 parcels of suspected cannabis, which amounted to 9,071 kilograms, was found concealed in the panels of the door and also in a spare wheel. The 2 males in the car are in custody. And the police on the same day, at about 2100 hours, acting on information received, went to a shop at Kumaka Waterfront in Mabaruma, in the Northwest District. They conducted a search and found 139 grams of cannabis. The male owner of the business and a female vendor are in custody pending charges. And 2 armed men who robbed a female domestic worker of a motorcycle at about 17:45 hours on the Aranaputa Public Road on the same day in North Rupaluni were apprehended by the police and public-spirited citizens. The motorcycle was recovered and the firearm suspected to have been used in the commission of the crime was found. An Airfield Sapphire Georgetown family of 4 is seeking assistance to rebuild their house after it was gutted by a fire on Wednesday morning. Sheffried McPherson, 31, a machine operator with the Ghana National Shipping Corporation, said he moved his family to the area about a year ago. The fire, which started at about 9:30 hours, completely destroyed their 2-bedroom wooden flat and everything inside. The house was furnished with a gas stove, fridge, beds, television sets, and other electrical and household items. The fire reportedly started in the kitchen area after his wife, Ayana Thompson, left a pot on the stove and went to a nearby shop. The couple's 2 young children, ages 5 and 8, were home alone at the time when the fire started. When the Ghana Fire Service ranks arrived, the house was completely destroyed. The family did not manage to save any materials. Anyone willing to assist the family can contact them on 592-682-0917. And another fire on Wednesday, 22:30 hours, completely destroyed a 2-story wooden house in 4th Street, Monrepo, and damaged the side of a neighbor's home. Omro Diopol and his son, Omro Diopol Jr., with Kalauti Samaru and a 7-year-old great-grandson, were all at the house at the time. Diopol lived in the upper flat with Samaru and the 7-year-old, whilst his son lived in the lower flat. Diopol was reportedly sleeping with his great-grandson when his son alerted him that smoke was emanating from the house. The Ghana Fire Service managed to save the house next door from burning, but the glass windows on the side were already shattered and a black water tank was melted. Anyone willing to assist this family at this time can contact them on 592-220-6922. The police are investigating, with the aid of surveillance footage from residents in the area, the murder of Navindra Samaru, the 23-year-old J&J phone card investment marketing representative, was gunned down while in his car PPP 1645 on July 23 at Middle Road, Le Penitence at around 13:30 hours by 2 men on a motorcycle who fled the scene with a blue haversack belonging to the deceased. The men may have assumed that Samaru had money in his haversack, but according to sources, it only contained his lunch. The police are also investigating the death of a 23-year-old gold miner who reportedly drowned at 9 miles Kuburi, Bagdam on Wednesday. Dead is Roger Alert of Brighton Village Quarantine, Berbice. According to police headquarters, he was employed in the said back dam on an operation owned and operated by his father. On the day in question, he was heading to a nearby shop with 2 other employees, and they attempted to cross a small stream when the current drifted alert away. His body was subsequently recovered the following day. Police said that due to recent heavy rains in the area, it caused excessive flooding. Now for some highlights from the Ghana Defence Force. We must tell you that all ranks remain in line as per regulations, in keeping with the recent activities per regulations given the general and regional elections. Now for wanted bulletins. Keon Smith is wanted by the police for questioning in relation to murder committed on Theo James, called Max, on July 13, 2020 at Blackwater Landing. Delon Wilson is also wanted by the police for questioning in relation to larceny by a public officer between 2013 and June 2020. Also wanted is 33-year-old Marissa Ahmad, known as Marissa Ali. She's wanted in connection with simple larceny committed on Stanislaus McCoy. The woman of Annandale East Coast, Demerara, committed the offense on February 4 this year at the Ocean Spray Hotel in Stanley Place, Katy, Georgetown. Also wanted is 18-year-old Stephen Archibald in connection with the murder of 23-year-old Kyle Chase. Chase was stabbed to death on December 30, 2019 at Mazzaroni Street in Guy Hawk Park. Archibald's last known address is Lot 136 Victoria Street, Alboystown, Georgetown. Anyone with information that may lead to the arrest of the aforementioned can contact the police on telephone numbers 226-6978, 225-1896, 226-2870, 226-7065, 227-1149, 226-7065, 911 or their nearest police station. That's it for this week's security report. Goodbye. Stay safe.